Hey, Jules Plus Vegan, and as always, welcome to my channel. And for those of you who are new, I know you can benefit. 2 days in a row, people. Miraculous, right? Hey, I'm trying to get back in the swing of things. It's slow. I don't have my vibrancy back. My eyes are still a little clouded over. Uh, I'm still breaking out from my animals, but it's temporary. I'm hoping I'm going to adjust to my new dogs because they are so cute and worthy of adjusting to. I was on my way home, of course, in the desert, and people just dump their animals in the desert. And it's a tough one because it's like, on the one hand, if they brought them to the pound, they'd probably be put to sleep. I mean, at least out in the desert, they have a chance of finding a rabbit or, living a little longer, as tragic as it is. I mean, that's all I could think. And, you know, they often, after they're done abusing females for all their puppies, when they decide they're on their last litter, they just dump them. And they have their little tits hanging and their stomachs all stretched out. And I'm just so sorry. I can't save them all. I just can't. Would that I could, honestly. So, God bless them 1,000 times. But I did say hi to a couple today and give them a cuddle and pray for them on their way. It just breaks me. Anyway, I have a fantastic article that I want to share. And sometimes people are like, Jules, your page just isn't that much about vegan. It's just not that much about food. And I explained from the beginning, so often what we're struggling with, what's eating us, has nothing to do with the food we're consuming, right? I mean, life is daily and it's big. And sometimes I just like to give tools for life, right? Because that's going to help me make my best choices with food. So I do these for myself and hope someone will benefit. All right, this is how can you constructively vent? Like, do you ever just need to vent? I pray about that a lot because I'm like, if you find one confidant and you take a moment to just get it out all out, I think that's healthy venting. When you retell that story to 15 other people, I don't think it's just a healthy vent anymore. Right? It's either just gossiping, straight out complaining, milking it. Like, there's a lot of things. But I think there are healthy ways to vent. And this interested me. It is from willingway.com, which is actually like a recovery center in Georgia, which I live nowhere near, right? I'm in Southern California. But it's a good one. And they have some great articles on a lot of things that interest me. So I wanted to share this one, and it reads, sometimes you feel it coming. Other times it boils over in one way or another. Whether you're frustrated, ticked off, or overwhelmed, it's natural to want to vent. It's also possible that regardless of how you feel, you won't say a word, but those emotions seep out eventually. Constructive venting helps you strike a balance. I hope so. So is venting healthy? I'm glad you asked. Anyway, I'm going to be pausing because I'm either sneezing or we need our filter changed yet again. My husband prefers to do it. I feel so bad. I feel like I ask him all the time, but we're in the high desert. There's so much wind and we have to change that filter all the time. And I'm trying to build up a resistance to my puppies because I am allergic to them and it's getting me. But I'm getting closer. I only break out like at the level of about an 8 or a 9 instead of like a 15, which was definitely true in the beginning. So I do feel like my body is building resistance. You might be familiar with people who end up getting like shots where they actually inject them with a little bit of whatever it is that they're allergic to. That's kind of my theory with my puppies. Go ahead and get scratched. Go ahead and get them all over you. Itch a little. And see if your body might build a resistance. And I believe that it is, because at first I actively had a full-blown rash, and now I'm still irritated and there's some bumps, but nothing like it was, and I will take that. All right, is venting healthy? In moderation, venting can be quite effective, especially if you have a responsive listener who can help you reframe the issue and look for solutions. Sharing our feelings with people who understand helps build stronger relationships, relieve tension and stress, and hopefully provide some clarity to the situation. A professor at the University of Miami Miller School of Medicine's Department of Psychiatry, Department of Microbiology and Immunology, and Sylvester Comprehensive Cancer Center, Dr. Fergus S. DeBar, probably slaughtered that, explains that discussing your problems with someone you trust isn't a bad thing, as long as it's not done for too long or too often. Otherwise, it's just a gripe. There's certain people, I don't even want to pick up the phone. I don't even want to encounter them because I know it's going to be a half hour of blah, blah, blah. And they don't necessarily want a solution. They just want to hear themselves, and it's like, there's this one person. I have a really excellent memory. So when people share things with me, I know, I get it, I remember it. And if I dare to interject and say, okay, yeah, I know this part because they are furious. Well, let me just say it again. And I don't know why you know it. Well, because you've said it 1,200 times. Because you've shared it with so many people you don't even remember who you've shared with. Are you kidding me? Anyway. Another best practice of venting is not to do it with just everyone. Maybe your coworkers don't have the time or the inclination to help you with job frustrations, or your partner feels conflicted when dinner conversation is full of complaining each evening. Be mindful not to overburden such folks who show patience, kindness, and empathy. Their naturally helpful nature can make them attractive go-to people for many who need to vent. I'm that kind of person. People see me and say, oh, let's tell Jules. I become a captive audience. I love the 12-step program because there's no crosstalk. No one's going to fix you or solve it per se. But it is a safe place to share, and it's usually timed like a minute. Some is up to 3 minutes, it depends. And you can share on the same topic again and again until you don't need to anymore. I think sometimes people overshare because they just don't feel validated or heard. So that's a good place to do it. All right, when venting becomes unhealthy. Unfortunately, prolonged venting, especially when ruminating on or rehashing the same issues without resolution, can actually cause more harm than good. Merriam-Webster defines rumination as obsessive thinking about an idea, situation, or choice, especially when it interferes with normal mental functioning specifically. A focus of one's attention on negative or distressing thoughts or feelings that, when excessive or prolonged, may lead to or exacerbate an episode of depression. That's straight up. Additionally, venting to some people might simply fuel the fire of aggravation, which also isn't helpful and might compound negative emotions between both parties. In certain situations, we might only want our feelings validated and mistakenly believe that the more we vent, the greater the chance this will happen. This creates a pattern of behavior that feeds on itself, which some psychologists refer to as addictive venting. Do you have people in your life who do this? I do. I have certain people that I just know. I'm just like, is there any good news? Is there any 1 minute story that doesn't have a loop connected to it that you're going to go again and again? Like, there's this one person, excuse me, I'm still struggling, that I'll say, how are you? And instead of them saying, I'm good, like today, blank, 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 or I just did blank, it always goes back to their health issues. And instead of how are you, it's immediately, well, I'm feeling all the physicality instead of mental or spiritual or emotional or what's going on in their life. It's only that one level of conversation. And I'm so sorry for that. They're more than their physicality, and if they're not, they could be if they moved on to the next subject. So this says, tips for constructive venting. Remember, the key to constructive venting is not to simply talk ad nauseum. If you're prone to verbal rumination, this behavior can help you in a non productive loop of heightened and often heated emotion, whereas taking a more constructive tack helps manage your reactions more effectively. Conversely, if you have a tendency to keep feelings bottled up, allowing yourself to use a constructive venting technique might actually make you feel better about opening up to a trusted confidant because you'll be focused on solutions. And that's a hyperlink. All right, so here's some of the suggestions. 1, avoid venting online. Even though you might sometimes find people who share your perspective, experts have noticed that negativity is far too easy to spread online and could possibly open you up to more troublesome consequences such as bullying and trolling. Sure, it might feel good at first to type away the frustration, but it's a one-sided, futile exercise that doesn't really resolve the core problem. Number 2, be selective about who you vent to. Yeah, because I have some people I share, and then it comes back on me. Like, they rub it in my face later, and I'm like, I told you that in confidence, but I was super vulnerable when I shared it. So what's your point? Jab, jab, jab. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Can you relate? Okay, so be selective on who you vent to. We mentioned this above, but it bears repeating. Some people are more willing to listen and provide a supportive shoulder. But if they don't help you see the issue clearly and constructively, you might simply be blowing off steam with a proper resolution to the issue without a proper resolution to the issue, which could make you feel even worse. Ask for help with perspective. When someone agrees to listen, this provides you with a person who cares and has insight. Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm misreading the tone. So it says, a person who cares and has insight, your value. Insight. Did I mention that I taught all day, that I didn't go to bed till 2 in the morning because I had so much data to do? And I want to be with my JVV community, but I can't breathe. But so what? It's a good article and it's important. So, do you remember that episode of Fred Flintstone? where he used toothpicks? Of course, I'm dating myself. Maybe you would never watch Fred Flintstone. But he used toothpicks to keep his eyes open. I can't remember. He and Barney were like in a competition or something. Anyway. Where are those toothpicks when I need them? Okay. I got this. Ready? It says, when someone agrees to listen, this provides you with a person who cares and has insight you value. That's all it was trying to say. So rather than simply unload, the article suggests that you ask for help in reframing your experience. Questions like, how should I think about this differently? Or, what should I do in this situation? Help both of you stay committed to finding solutions. Yeah, I totally get that. If I'm stuck in a situation, I absolutely try and reframe it. Somebody said, instead of feeling that life is hard on you, you just need to ask life, what is it I'm learning from this situation? Like, what am I called to learn right now? And all of a sudden you go from a victim stance to a proactive opportunity to learn. Okay, I like this next part. It says, if you don't have the opportunity to vent in a certain moment, channel all that energy by taking a walk. I mean, anywhere. It says on a nature trail. I live in the desert. It's brown and windy and lots of sand. But yeah, I mean, if you have the opportunity for a nature trail, you can find grace even in the middle of a, cement block. Like, there's grace all around. Take a walk on a nature trail or around the block. Some studies indicate even 10 minutes walking outside can improve your mood and prompt more positive thoughts. I like that. When you come back indoors, you should feel calmer and have a clearer perspective. All right. Willingness helps you move forward. Willing way. That's an ad. Let's see. It's solitude. Yeah, forget it. That's part of the ad. But anyway, there's some good things here. There's some good things because often, like mostly when I'm getting ready for confession and I go through my little confession app, they actually have confession apps, yes. And the app asks you a bunch of questions, often based on the Ten Commandments to help you kind of look inside and decide like what you need to touch on. One of them is gossiping. And I often have to think, okay, did I just tell one confidant? Did I just process it with one or two people? Or did I talk to 500 people about the same situation, at which time becomes gossip and stuff? And I have to be true to myself on that. But anyway, I'm a work in progress, people. That is straight up. And I am a tired work in progress. But I did want to vent today. I was really struggling. And I kind of took it out on the wrong person. It wasn't, let's just say that person owned it by saying, Guy, are you mad at me? And I said, no. Forgive me, I'm not mad at you. It's very hard for me to even get mad and even harder for me to admit that I'm angry. But I was just really struggling and I said, no, forgive me. It's not about you at all. And I really had to step away and process and get a moment and come back to it, and then we were able to talk and it was a constructive way, I'm trying really hard not to say bitch fest, but we're all grown-ups here. I try not to engage in a bitch fest. All right, if you're familiar. All right, my friends, like if you like, join us if you haven't, subscribe. Let me know in the comments below how I may support you. Let me know, seriously, that you even exist and that there's anyone worthy of a comment. I would love it. Until we talk again. I'm getting better every day. I'm getting past my dogs. I'm trusting the process. I hope you are too, for whatever your situation is. We're still here. We're breathing. And therefore, we're blessed.